Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
It's December and I want it to snow. If not outside, then here on my computer screen in a window kind of like this. So every day until the 24th, I'm going to improve my program, this one, to make the snow look better and better. Right now, I think it looks pretty awesome, and the snowflakes are landing and gradually building dunes here. Oh, dunes and dunes. It kind of looks like it's building spikes. And today I'm going to look into how that can be and how to avoid it. When a snowflake lands, this function gets called land snowflake, where I find the Y position from the landed array. And if I take a look at the landed array, it's for every pixel along here. And some of them are, they look pretty okay here, but some, here we have at position 126, there's 2 snowflakes, then there's 9, and the next one there's 108. So this gives us a spike. It's probably this one. And we have another one here, 121, and so on. And I would like to avoid those. And but I'm not sure what can I do. So I'll try to model it by drawing a bit. And don't worry, there won't be that much math this time. So my landed array has some numbers, and those numbers correspond to the height of the snowflakes landed. So if the 1 landed, there's 2 landed, and we have 3. That would be numbers 1, 2, and 3. And we'll go all the way to max x. And then what I want is I want to avoid getting spikes here. Say I have, this is no longer 3, this is now 5. And this is 2. And I don't want that. I actually want to say, okay, this one is getting too tall, so that one should move down here. So this would get changed to a 4, and this would change to a 3. And I would have to do that the next time over, because now there's no one here. So this one has become too tall, and then I need to move it down here. So that would actually be the next time around. Let's say this one moves down here. So this one would be a 2 again, and this one would be a 1, rather than before where it probably was a 0. So my code needs to run through every single position, every single possible spike, and see, is it too much taller than the next one? If it is, then subtract 1 from this and add 1 to the next. And that should be pretty simple to do in code. And I don't need to do it every time I land a snowflake. I can do it down here after I've moved all the snowflakes, because then they've all landed, and here I can make my code to avoid the spikes. So let's do that. Not avoid, just avoid. So I'm going to loop through the entire landed array. And for each one, I should check this height and the next height. I'm just going to use variables here. Let this height be equal to the landed of position x, and let the next height be landed position x plus 1. And then if this is taller, 2, much taller, then next move snowflake to the next. And that means if this height is greater than next height, and it would always be if it's just one greater, but let's just say if this height minus 2 is still greater than next height, then we would say this height should be 1 less. That means landed x is minus minus, and landed x plus 1 is plus plus. So let's see how that pans out. I'm just going to speed this up a bit. So I can see there's some missing pixels here and there, and also some pixels that are jumping up. And that's of course because when I say landed minus minus, I don't actually remove the snowflake, the pixel that was already drawn there. And when I say x plus 1, I don't actually draw it. Let's look into how we can remove pixels that has already been drawn. Here in the Canvas API, we could fill rect, that draws a rectangle, stroke rect would draw the outline, and clear rect would clear it. So here, before I subtract something from landed, I could remove a pixel. My e's are jumping all over the place. And that would be my CTX clear rect here. And it has the same x, comma y, comma width, comma height. And my x is my x. And y would be my config max y minus, I do think I use -1 up here. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. I'm going to delete that again and just say config max x minus the landed. Config max x minus the landed. Max y, sorry. Minus the landed x is my y position, comma 1, comma 1. And I do also think I have something where I actually draw, yeah, the landed are larger, 2.2. I'm going to make them smaller, single pixel, delete a single pixel, and then I also have to draw it. So here, config.ctx.fill rect, once again my x, no, now it's not my x position, now it's x plus 1, but it's still my config max y minus landed x plus 1, comma 1, comma 1. This should give me drawn, this should clear the one on the left and draw a new one on the right. Let's see how it works. No, there's still empty pixels here. Maybe I should do this before adding one. And let's just see how that changes. And once again, I'm going to have to speed things up a bit. It kind of works. There are no longer any missing pixels and there are no longer any spikes, but there is kind of a sawtooth jacket pattern here. And that is because I move flakes to the right all the time. If this spike gets too tall, it can move one to the right and one more and one more. But it can never move to the left. So this pattern makes sense in my code, but I don't really want it. I also want some to move to the left. So here, if it's too tall to the according to the next, then we move one. I would also say if it is too tall, this height minus 1 is greater than the previous height, and I don't have a variable for the previous height, but that would just be landed x minus 1, and then I just have to make sure that this only gets called if x is greater than 0, because otherwise I would end up with a non-existing landed. So if that is the case, I would do the same, remove a pixel. That would be exactly this. And add a pixel to the left. And I'm just going to copy this, although it's kind of scary. And then say -1 everywhere, -1, -1, -1. So this should avoid these sawtooth jaggedy areas. I'm going to take a look just before I commit. I think this is almost perfect. It's very, very wonderful. I don't quite get why this is here, but everything else looks like snow gently falling. So I feel like I'm complete. I don't know what to do next, but I'm going to commit for sure. Perfect landing snow. And I'm really not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow, but I am going to do something. So, see you then.